Hey there, I just wanted to make this video about some tips I'd wish I'd known before taking the Oregon landscaping exams, or the LCB exams. Okay, so first some quick disclaimers. I am not discussing test contents. I am not helping you or directly helping you pass your exams. Um, I don't want to have my license revoked. I'm not looking to enable any cheating. I'm just trying to give you some advice that I wish I'd known to help me prepare and be ready for the tests. Credentials, why you should listen to me. I'm licensed for all phases in Oregon. My LCP number is 16628. You can look that up if you would like. I've passed all the tests, and I'm here to tell you about what they look like as of December 2022. So my tips before the tests. You can look into a probationary license, but I don't suggest it. It's not really worth it. Your scores on the exams during your probationary license are only good for 1 year, where if you pursue it in a traditional license approach, all scores are good for 2 years, which means you can take longer to get there. Because ultimately, under a probationary license, you have to be basically in an apprenticeship with somebody else who is fully licensed, which can, and you have to do that for 2 years before you can apply to have the probationary period removed from your license. And so you may as well just spend that time working for somebody anyway, taking your traditional licensing, so that at the end of about 2 years or less, you get all the experience you need and you go. The only reason to do this is because you need to bypass the experience requirements, but again, you may as well. I highly suggest getting experience. And plus, let me give you this final point, quoting directly from Kim Gladwell Raleigh, the LCB program manager. One last thought is that probation is not understood by the public. They think that the licensee did something to be put on probation. So probationary really means like intro license, but it's not called that, and people don't think of it like that, so don't use it because it's terrible. It doesn't work for you. Fee to take the exam, $170 just to register to take it. You do that through PSI, which we'll get to in a second. There are no official practice tests for this exam, which is also confusing because of this PSI thing. So you schedule with PSI, which is the institute that proctors the exams for the Oregon LCB. There are no official practice tests, but their website is all about trying to give you practice test material. So that's confusing, and ignore all that. I can tell you. Okay, and then scheduling with the PSI. Okay, so first up, there are ultimately 6 tests for the Oregon LCB, all phases. 5 of them are 100 minutes, 1 is 200 minutes. That's 700 minutes, or 11 2/3 hours of exam, so you should probably schedule them across at least 2 different days. When you try to schedule with PSI online, it will tell you, look at the schedule, choose your dates to make sure that it works for you, then pay for and register those dates. But I can tell you, after 4 calls with PSI, that's not how it works. Pay for it, just pay for it, and then you're finally in. You can either go on their website or go on, call them. At this point, I don't want to touch their website. I'd rather call them. So then you call them, schedule them out, however long you have to wait. I had to wait, I think, 2 or 3 months for my first set of tests, and then another month for my second set of tests. Okay, so that's that, right? Yeah, I did it in 2 different days, 3 tests each day. The books, there are study materials. Buy the landscaping construction book. Where is that? Buy this book. You're going to want to be quite familiar with the tests, and it's a really good resource anyway. You can obtain a free copy of the OSHA guide booklet if you want. The plant reference guide is literally just a giant binder of various plants. I didn't buy it. But I was already familiar with like plants and their different parameters and the kind of things that we talk about when we're talking about plants. Be ready to flip through this book a bunch. And then last thing before the tests, do a little self-assessment. Find your strengths and lean into them. Find your weaknesses and buff them up. Personally, I read up on the various parts of decks and the intricacies of plumbing and turf grass, because those were kind of my weaker points. And in my strengths, I relied in no small part on the fact that I've taken tests my whole life. So what I knew from the SAT and the ACT and the GRE, they all came to bear at this point. And that's a whole other thing, something that you can find from a million places, so I'm not going to talk about that. But those kind of testing suggestions totally applied to the LCB tests as well. All right, when you get to the testing center, it is an open book test, and they provide all the relevant references materials for you. You're going to use one of these, but you won't use yours. They will give you one because you can't have any notes or anything, which is, yeah, my next point, no notes. This guy I was working for told me that you could bring notes. That's totally not the case. You cannot. Okay, when you check in, the proctor searches you and locks up all your personal items. So basically, it's just like you make sure you don't have anything up your sleeves, up your pant legs, like in your hair if you have long hair, on your glasses, any of that kind of stuff. But again, if you've done tests, like official tests before, you're probably kind of familiar with this stuff. You take all your personal things, you turn off your phone, you lock it into a locker or a bag that hangs on the back of your chair, which was my case. They tell you which cubicle to go to. Go there. All right, sorry, proctor check-in. Go to your cubicle, settle in. Take time to orient to your area. Your test does not start, your timer doesn't start until you start your test. So you can sit down, look at the books that they gave you for this set of tests that you're taking. Open them up to relevant areas if you want to. Like I flip everything to the table of contents and or the index depending on the book. Set some things to the side. I didn't need the magnifying glass that they gave me. I put earplugs in. I pushed the keyboard back. I didn't the first time around, I did the second time around because you don't need the keyboard at all, just the mouse. You don't get to choose the order of the tests that you get. They just come at you. Well, I mean, like they have a order or whatever that they give you, and you can know when you're scheduled, they'll always talk to you. They'll be like, you're taking this test, this test, this test. And what they say, that's the order. That's what it is. Okay, you can begin. And surprise, every test has 5 extra questions. All the official paperwork says that the exams either have 50 or 100 questions. No. 5 of them had 55 questions. 1 of them had 105 questions. And that's not including the survey that they give you at the end, which is like, how good was the testing center and that kind of thing. So that's weird, and it kind of messes up the following math, which is, you know, you get 2 minutes a question, right? For your 50 question test, you get 100 minutes. For your 200 question test, which is the irrigation test, you get 200 minutes. So be tactful, you know, like I said before about like just applying test taking exams. Answer as you can, make your best guess as you can. You can mark the question. The software lets you like mark the question, and you can move on and come back to it later, review and fix if you have time. I finished all my tests in like half the time that they give you, and it's not to brag, it's to tell you, don't rush. You're okay. You're gonna get there. Like there's plenty of time to review. I reviewed all the questions I had marked. I resolved most of them. I still didn't know some of them. But even on the ones I still didn't know, literally I sat there and read. And I was like, okay, we're in this spot. Well, and I just read just every page, literally every page of that little section. And most of the time I found the answer. Some of the times I went to a new section. I had all kinds of time to practice, to review my answers. So just take it easy. Know that lots of people have passed the test before. And even if you don't pass it this time, you can take it again. It costs money again, but you can take it again. After the test, okay, you need 75% to pass the test, which means you need 38 out of 50 for most of the tests and 75 out of 100 for the irrigation test. I don't know how those 5 extra questions factor in. I have no idea. They're 100% in there. You take questions 1 through 55 in the program, and then they give you a paper that says number of questions, 50. So weird. But you find out when you finish your last test and you submit it. So whether you're taking 1 test, or in my case I was taking 3 tests, boom, boom, boom. When I finished this one and turned it in, I got my results for all 3. And then you see like pass, 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 or whatever. And then you go out to your proctor. They give you printed transcripts that you can use. It breaks it down. I'm not going to show you this part because this, I think, kind of gets a little bit close to where maybe they don't want me to tell you. But it does break it down, like number of questions per category and which categories they tested you on, so that you can check yourself, you know, like, okay, I really didn't do well in category A, but I did great in the rest of them. So just, especially if you're coming back to test again, you can know which one to focus and study on. And then, yeah, it'll tell you if you passed or not. It'll tell you how long you've got to have the rest of your license and things. You don't need to send this to the LCB. You just send the LCB an email. They pull your scores directly from PSI. Then they say, okay, you're good. And then you pay another fee, another $170 to get your LCP number. So this is your licensed contracting professional number. That's what you need to do your work. Then you can now finally move on to securing your bonding and insurance. That's what your business needs to get a licensed contracting business number. So this is my number. This is the number of Sustainable Landscaping Services number. Or for you, you know, like, this is your number, this is your business number. You need two different ones. It's two different things. You can't get this one until you get this one. You can't get this one until you do the tests. Let me see what else. I think that's it. I have some helpful links in the description below. I referenced them a lot before the test, even kind of now after the tests. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, helped you better prepare, just feel more comfortable and ready to go after these tests. I wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing your licensed trailer rolling around town. See you next time.